I've done everything I can do for this axe haft. It has more damage than I can see. I have no remedy for that. I have no way to fix it.
I can't help but start this a little bit philosophical. A lesson about life from an axe. I have determined it wasn't too thick of a shoulder, although I'm going to thin them down from now on. I'm going to take the shoulder off because the old timer said don't leave a bulge beneath the eye. Don't need it. And it just concentrates pressure here. And when this broke, there was a final stroke that broke the camel's back, that broke the haft. But it wasn't that one stroke. It was repeated trauma during that day cutting the red pine. And those of you who doubt how difficult it is to cut these red pine snags, that's why I'm doing it with an axe. I'm trying to find the axe that works best. Double bits are working best because this wood does not chip. It does not fracture. It doesn't chip out. Any chips you see are going to be very small. When I put up the video about chopping that tree down, they're very small. They weren't broken out, they were cut out. They were cut by shaving off a piece here and whacking it here. So I take several strikes this way and it just peels it, just carves it. It's like hitting clay, modeling clay. It's not going to fly out of there. You have to shave it and you have to chip it. And the problem with this wood is when you use a great big heavy axe, it's 4 pounds 2 ounces, and if you're not strong enough and not practiced enough to keep that from wobbling, and you'll see the wobble in the video, when you hit it, it very often grabs the bit and wants to stop it. It's like hitting a waterbed with a baseball bat. You hit it and it trips the axe. So it's not glancing off this way. This is a glance when it goes like that. If you're hitting inside of a notch and you hit one side of a notch and it flips in your hand, it would stick in the other side of the notch. But this is hitting and flipping out. So it hits, it catches, flips out. And you have to find exactly the right angle, and the double bits work best because they're balanced. I always say this is like whipping a head, and with the double bit, kind of throwing a frisbee. It glides in there nice and level. And because it's coming in level, there's no sideways inertia. They don't flip. They either just bounce off or they stick. They go in. And if you hit the angle just right in this red pine, it'll penetrate. Then you come back the other way, penetrate again, you can get something to carve out. Done 9 of those trees now. I know this is true. I looked it up on YouTube and found out, yeah, red pine's a son of a gun. And then when you cut it you cut it with your chainsaw into 12-inch rounds, you can't split them. You put this axe in there, you'll sink it up to here because it's not hardwood. Yanka, it's spelled with a J, pronounced with a Y. The Yanka hardness on this wood is about 590. And I have repeatedly, if you watch my videos, repeatedly said, Yanka tells you almost nothing about how hard something is to cut or to split. I love doing the green ash, which has got a Yanka, what is it, 1200, 1400? And the red pine has 590. Yanka doesn't matter. Yanka is, how dentable is it? How marable is it? Marable is it? If you put a steel bearing in it and press it in, how easily is it dented? Tells you whether it's going to be a good floor. But when it comes to splitting, it's more important. How big was the wood? How freshly felled? How straight is the grain? Does it have knots? What part of the tree did it come off of? If it's down by the trunk and the fibers are curving in the base flare, that's harder than a nice straight piece. The ash behaves well. The oak, not too bad. And oak is Very hard. What is that? Red oak. I'd have to look it up again. It's 1200 or something. I don't know what it is. It's a hard wood. But I would do the oak. When the oak gets very dry, it's harder to do, but it's doable. The red pine, I finally cut a piece that was about 8 inches, around about maybe 18 inches, and I was able to split it. The only way you're going to split red pine is you let those rounds set there for about 6 months. Then you come back when they've dried out, because the standing snags are they're saturated. So when you first buck that up with the chainsaw and then you try to split it with an axe, it's like beer foam comes out of it. You pull your axe out with a great deal of effort. You stand on it, pry it back and forth, try to get your axe back out. Where'd you cut it? It heals. That thing just sucks up all the impact energy. It won't do anything. Guarantee. Look up red pine and you'll see other people complaining about how difficult that is to split. So this axe is going in. And several times during the longer video, well, 2 very distinct times, you'll see it hit and flip out this way, or hit and reverse itself immediately. You can't even slow it down enough to see it. It goes bam, and it hits off like that. Watch the video closely. See the strikes. And you'll know that what was happening to this axe was a violent, traumatic twist in the hand. Now, I could have done it, maybe get a shorter handle. Maybe grab the handle more, because my swing, and I've been criticized for the way I chop, for sure. I hate to put up a video that's about something more significant. People are like, oh, your chopping's wrong. Yeah, but pay attention to the bigger point, please. This goes in, violently reverses direction. There's a lot of twist going on here. And most of it is closer to the weight of the head. The axe handle wasn't meant to take that. This is a gorgeous axe handle. It's not the handle's fault. It's that I'm not placing them well, and that probably for this wood I'm using the wrong tool. I should have stuck. I finished that tree with a double bit. Double bit didn't have a problem. That may be a video we're talking about itself. Use the right axe pattern for the job. I used this one because it's convex this way and it's convex this way, and it was doing okay. This did most of that tree. It's that repeated torture I put it through that snapped it. Here's a lesson about human beings. When we see a broken human, when we're broken, we break a leg, we're in a car accident, we get a big cut, people rush to our aid, stop the bleeding, sew up the cut, set the bones, put a cast on it. There you go. They fix what they see. When this axe broke, I fixed what I saw was wrong. This piece was broken out. And I studied it. Somebody said, well, you got it on a ledge. Did not have it on a ledge. Okay. They said, look at your shoulder. This piece that broke out had a mashed part here. That's because it broke away from the head and then it ran back into the head when it was out and extended. That curled this up. When I took the head off, man, I wish I would have videoed more of this, but I didn't understand this point when I was doing it. I put that piece back down. I shaved the shoulders off even more. I made them flat. They are now flat to the eye hole. They're just about the same diameter as the eye. And I probably will always do that from now on, because it's definitely going to help when I hang jerseys. All right. I did this. I couldn't get that to lay down. So then I put in some glue, and I put in some sawdust and glue as a filler, trying to make it so it just wasn't a big fat wide glue line. I thought I could get it to match the color, but my sawdust filings, or my sawdust and some metal findings were together, and it turned it dark the first time I put a blow on it. I made these little runouts. Now these runouts, they're inevitable because you've got a sloping shoulder here. You're cutting the grain off on these when you come down. So where each of them tops out, it's rounded now. And because it rounds back, now I'm exposing these little shelves. They weren't there when I got the axe new. They're there after I worked the axe and got it fitted. They reveal themselves. I couldn't get those to stop. There's like a feather edge there. So what I did was, right at the point of each of those runouts, I put in a little tiny short dowel. And what that does is it steepens up the end point of the runout so it doesn't catch. Instead, you've got protection. These little dowels are protection against that edge getting caught and lifted. And that wouldn't have done anything. I don't think this would break here. Maybe this would break off, but what that does is it makes it so I'm not catching slivers when my hand comes up there. I put these in. I tried to put them in the middle because I thought putting them in the middle, because the break's up here, right? Putting them in the middle, they get less compression and tension when there's an impact force. They're in the middle. Same way that you drill holes in the middle of a floor joist to run cable or pipe. It's the safest place to put it because the middle of the wood is most stable. The outer edges, they're the ones that are going through the flex. Well, then when it cracked again, it cracked right at the dowel. And I've warned people, I don't recommend doweling axes because wherever you put a dowel all the way through, you severed the fibers all the way through. That's almost a 1/4 inch. It's 3/16 inch dowel. I'm taking out a big swath from here and to here. The connection is broken. And now I've got this unsupported channel here. When this broke, I don't know if you can see the crack from there. This acted like a fulcrum. It allowed this to pry away. But what else was going on? The point I'm making is, just like us humans, we fix the things that are broken and we don't look at what's broken internally. The trauma that this went through was more extensive. It occurs to me now. It was more extensive than just this crack. What else was broken inside here? What else got weakened? Because when this broke again, and I was putting this together, I saw all kinds of extra cracks in there that had to be tended to once I got inside. And that's just like us. We walk around, people see us in a wheelchair or walking on crutches, they rush to open doors for us, they give us extra care. They're aware that we've been hurt. And we carry scars that people can see and said, you've been through some bad times. They don't see what's inside. That part sometimes doesn't get attention. I didn't give this axe handle attention. We were all born perfect little axe handles. And over life, we go through traumatic experiences, and we should probably be aware of each other, that when you're dealing with somebody, not to respond to superficial, not to respond to a tone they took with us, not to respond to the fact they just cut us off in traffic. Something else may be going on there. Always somebody.
Oh, hey, it's not just towels. I learned something about wood glue as well.
So that's my point, is that I've gotten in here, I've addressed more. Now I've also discovered more about wood glue. The wood glue itself should fix this crack. I didn't put any more dowels in it. This crack, the grain runs together, it's perfectly matched. The glue's strong enough, it doesn't need any help from a dowel. A dowel will only compromise the integrity of the axe further. This should actually be stronger than the lignin. All the wood glues, whether you're using Elmer or any of the 3 formulations of tight bond, they're stronger than the lignin in the wood. This handle came as a wood cellulose lignin composite, nature's composite. Now I'm replacing it with a man-made composite. Several things about the wood glue that I discovered I would pass on. Again, don't listen to me. I'm just bringing up points that you would research and fact check me on. And one of them is, everybody knows that wood glue is stronger than lignin. So why don't we just make axe handles out of wood glue then? I want to count on these fibers. I have handles that are 100 years old and they're still working because the lignin and the wood cellulose is still intact, and it still has its integrity that it can work. I know that lasts. But that lignin isn't just about strength. It's about flexibility, resilience, durability over time. Does the wood glue have that? I was reading about Type Bond 3 and it says it's a little bit more brittle, a little less flexible than the original Type Bond. So I chose original Type Bond. Type Bond 3 is weatherproof. Like I said in the other video, I'm not going swimming with my axe. So it's probably never going to be, I'm never going to leave it outside. I hope I never leave it outside. Will it hold up over time? Don't know. But I do want to point out, all the repairs that I made originally held. They didn't break. Vulnerabilities that were created in the axe from the traumatic day, chopping that red pine tree, were more extensive than I thought. There was more damage inside the handle here, and maybe even down here, that it was waiting to break again. And now that I've tended to those, I'm hoping this is now a usable axe. If this does not break, we're going to try to break it. If it doesn't break, then I can get some black oil-based paint. It'll work with boiled linseed oil, because guess what's in oil-based paint? It's linseed oil. So I can color this. That will help a little bit. Still debating whether I want to do that. And if I do it up here, I'll probably do it on the knob. But this is such a gorgeous handle that I hate to do it. Or I could leave it scarred up like this as a lesson, as a tool. That's another point. I don't recommend doing this. I would not do this to an axe that I'm going to use as a present or sell somebody. I would do this only for experimentation, discovery, learning more about ash. Very pleased with how ash behaves. It was a great tool for me, and that's what I have an ash handle for, is to discover the benefits of using ash, instead of just always being a hickory baby. I always use hickory. I've never used any other species of wood for a handle. Well, now I've been introduced to ash. I'm sold. I'm a customer. And like I said, I've ordered 2 more from the same handle maker. You don't want to hold up something like this. It's all mashed up and then tell people whose axe you just murdered, or axe handle that you just murdered. So I want to be kind and probably take down the videos that mention the name until I get the other axes hung, because they're going to come out gorgeous. Because I learned so much doing this one. It's now going to improve my hafting of all other axes. They're going to be glorious. But this one's got some glory left in it. Remember, I was chopping and bucking with just this half of the axe. And it was working fine. So let's put it back together. Let's try to break it. If it breaks, I still learned all these lessons. If it doesn't break, I still got a good axe. All right, now hopefully that new mic is cutting down some of this wind noise. It's a little bit breezy, but it's hot as can be. We have a very light breeze, but it's over 95% humidity. The last few days we've had 95. One day we had 100% humidity. And high heat. It's been in the 90s. Haven't hit 100 yet. I guess in the cities they did. This piece is elm. Let's see. Is that piece elm too, I think? That one is green ash. Look in the bark here. Green ash has that basketball net pattern in the bark. Yeah, this is elm. 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 I think this is green ash. Green ash. This one here. Elm. So all these are elm. And that comes from a tree that I saw down for that guy the other day. That one I was going to try to split, but there's some knots in it. Let's see, where's the camera looking? Oh, I held up through the first hit. Go up a little bit like this. Maybe take that leg down a little, balance it out. There we go. All right, now we're going to try that and see what we get. Okay. The first glue up was up here. Second time it broke was right through the middle, going through that dowel. This has all been re-glued. I tried to pry it apart and get glue up in there. And let's see, will it break? I need more angle for this stuff. Pretty tough. And I think the Yanka for, like I said, it probably doesn't matter that much for chopping and splitting. It's what, 790, 780? Yeah, I don't have to pay attention to that too much. Right now I'm just concentrating on good placements. And we're through. All right. Should we take another piece? I don't know. I want to do elm again. Might want to do this ash. So I get it lay down in there. Then I'll be able to roll it. Concentrate on placement now. Missed. There. Got it hooked behind that other log. If I come down alongside that knot there, maybe move this. Yeah. It doesn't want to go in the end. Ooh, chopping it the long way. That was a good sound. but it was bad news. Yeah, there's your answer, people. Those dowels compromise it too much. And this is not exactly where it broke last time, but that dowel pin, that's screwing it up. Alright, last crack was here. This crack is a new path going down there. And that's going to support my lesson. Oh, then it joined the other crack back down there. There's more damage in that haft than I could see. And if it's going to keep making new cracks, I can't save it. I'm going to save the haft. I'm going to put it somewhere so that I remember. And I maybe use it for something else. But now that head is now going to go on a different haft. No, I'm still thinking. So I want that plumb hung too. I tell you what, I'm going to put this on the other ash haft. We're not done with ash. Stay tuned for further updates.
Make sure you don't miss the rehang of that head. That's a glorious head. Just push subscribe and you'll receive notifications. Thank you very much for watching to the end.